Alright, so instead of an exercise, I've decided we do something very important, right? We're gonna loop through our data and display the data, alright? Now this will be kind of long, so I will be rushing, and I'm kind of losing my voice, so I hope you will understand me. Sorry about that. Now I've gone ahead and edited this. I've made some markup here, but this is still where we stopped, right? Where we were using the associate, right? What I did was I added HTML tags, right? Basically it's going to be a table like this. So what I want you to do is go to Bootstrap, right? Go to w3schools.com, click on Bootstrap, click on tables, all right, and then scroll down to, there are a lot of tables here. You just choose any one you want, all right, but I preferred the one with the borders because it looks nicer, right? So just click on try it yourself, and then inside the code, just copy everything, copy the markup, all right, and then just dump it in here, all right? Dump it on the page you're working on right now, all right? And make sure you save it and preview it in the browser. It's going to look something like this, all right? And you can see I'm having some hover effects because I added table hover, right, to the table class. That's why I'm getting the hover effect. It looks nice to me. Anyway, what we're gonna do, we're gonna leave this for now. We're gonna come back and try to fill this in, right? We'll try to display data from our database, all right, here, real time, all right. But let's look at a few things first. Last last lecture, I think, yeah, we stopped at something like this: MySQL associate, right? Now I want you to understand that there are other couple functions, right? There is one called MySQL fetch associate. Now this works exactly as this, alright? So when you see this anywhere, alright, it's basically a function that is called to avoid you typing the second parameter, alright? So instead of typing this, you could simply say result, right? You could put your result here, result equals, right? You could say result equals, then you pass in your query, alright? And it's going to do the same thing, all right? I think we're going to use this because it's easier to use, right? But this works perfectly fine as this, all right? And then if I should change this to num, remember we had one num. This num loops through the arrays, right, and returns the result in an index format. This is another way to write it, all right? So if you call this function, or if you see this function anywhere here with a result set passed in like this, all right, then the result is going to come in a form of an array. Right now we can go ahead and test this if you want. Let me just put this here, all right, and which one should we begin with? Let's begin with a num, right? So we're gonna comment this out also. Now if I should echo, right, if I should echo result like this, I believe I'm gonna get an error, right? Now I'm gonna get an error because it's an array. See, I'm getting this as error, says it's an array, right? Which means I need to call the index, right? The index number, right? So if I do 0, right, and I save, then I get 7, right? So it basically gets the first index value. So it works the same as the other one, right? Now let's text this one. I'll just comment this out, all right? Now this one is returning everything in a form of associative array, which means we can call the value, right? If we go the index value, if we do email, I hope we get something here. Yeah, so we're getting copy at virtual line, so it's also getting the first email, right? Now if you do this, all right, if you call in a result set just to get your values, if you do this, you're only gonna get one value, right? So what we have to do is we have to apply a while loop on this, right? I will just take this out. We don't need it. So if I go something like while, all right, and then I put all these in a bracket, right, and then I say while result, okay, equals MySQL I fetch array, right, then I open my curly brace, right, and then I put this echo statement inside here. What happens is I'm going to call all the emails inside, right, the database. You can see that I'm calling the 2 emails in the database, right, because I'm looping through, right? I'm looping through to get the values that I'm calling, right? Same way if I do full name, right, full underscore name, I think it's like this, then I will get all the full names, all right? It's refreshing. Then I'll get all the full names. I got Kabi here, I got Chris here, right? So already you can see we are already displaying the result on the page, right? Again, I'm losing my voice, but it's not gonna happen, okay? I promise you. Now what we want to do is we want to look at another, let's just comment this out first, right? We want to look at another function, another function, actually, yeah, called MySQL num rows, right? Num rows will basically count the number of rows that you've got that was returned to your query, right? So for example, if I say something like result equals num rows, then I pass in the query, right? No, this is the query, this is the result we're getting from the query, right? And then I save and I go to the browser. I need to echo the result. Now if I echo result like this and then I check it on the browser, what happens is I see 2, right? So the function counted the number of results, right, that the number of rows, right, inside this table, and we basically have 2 rows, right? Now when I say a row, this everything here is a row and everything here is a row. So this first row is a record, right, and this one too is a record. So that is what is happening inside here, right? Now when would you use this function num rows? You're going to use this function if you want to authenticate, right? If you want to authenticate. So for example, someone types in their email, right? We don't have much time to type, so I just put everything here. We get in this email, all right, and then we get in this password, right? And let's assume this email and password came in through a form or something like that, all right? Now you're gonna write a query, right, and say select all from users, because you wanna check the database if this user really exists, right? So select from all from users, where you can say email, all right, where email equals, and what you need to do here is you need to open 2 you need to put the function in a quote, right? But if you use double quotes, it's not going to work because you're already using double quote outside, okay? Don't forget that. So we say email and then we say password equals, all right, and then we call the password, which has to be in a single quote inside the SQL, because check this out, if I should have started with a double quote, you see what happened? I just messed my whole quotes up, right? Because I'm telling the SQL you're closing from here, which is not possible, right? So you need to put single quote and just call the variable email, all right? So basically we're telling this that, listen, the query will be sent, all right, with this function, and compare with the email and password. This has to be password, to see if if there's a user there, right? Now if there's a user there, we could probably write a function and say if, and then we call our our result here, right? Because we are counting the result, right? Now if the result, or let's do this, let's just echo result. All right, let's echo result. All right, so basically if there is something, we will see 1. All right, we need to see 1. If there's nothing, we see 0. Right, now because there is no C here, the email has to be Chris Paul. So if I save this, I will see 1 here. So 1 means there is 1 record in our database that matches this username and password, right? So we can simply write a query like if, right? Then we check the result, result like this, and then we say if result is greater than 0, right? Because 0 means there's nothing, right? So if the result is greater than 0, then we can say something like redirect the person to their account or do something, right? For this, we're just gonna say echo welcome, right? Echo welcome, right? And then if not, we just echo something else, right? So this is how you can use this function, the MySQL num rules. All right, we're gonna be using it for our login, right? So you would understand more, right? Now I want us to come back to the MySQL associate because we want to fetch data, right? We want to get all the data from the database and then put it in a table, right? So what we're going to do, actually, we're going to comment all this out, right? Now if you want to write PHP inside your what's this HTML, you have to basically open a PHP tag here, right? So you would want to do it where you want the values to go, right? Now if you take a closer look at this table, all right, we want the values to be here, right? So we have to be under the table head, right? So let's go to our code. This is the table head, all right? So below the table head, right here, we open up our PHP, right? PHP, and then we're gonna close this, right? We're gonna close this, right? But inside here, we want to call our database, right? Because we're gonna need it to establish our connection, right? And then we're gonna write a simple query. We're gonna write a simple query and say, listen, select, right? All has to be caps. Make it a practice to use caps, right? Select all from then the table name users, right? We're not passing in anywhere clause. We just want to display all the result, right? So we need to run this query, right? So we're just going to say run equals MySQLi underscore query, right? And then we're going to pass in 2 parameters. One is going to be our connection, all right? Then the other one is going to be the query that we our query string, right? So we're going to put this in here, right? Now we have passed in our query, right? Now remember what we did here. We said while the result, right? So we need to write a while to loop through it, right? We say while, all right? Then we open this and say while the result. So we need to define our variable and call it result. Okay, this is what you're going to do, all right? While the result, all right, equals, all right, then we're going to call our what am I doing? Don't know where I pressed, all right? This is going to be MySQLi underscore fetch, right? We're fetching the result in the form of an associative array, right? And we need to pass in our variable that is holding the result of our run query, right? Now over here, what you're going to do basically is you're going to open this, all right, and echo, let's say echo, then you type result, all right, then you put your array, and then you call the name of what you want to echo, right? Now what we want to do is we want to echo, right? We want to echo the result. You can see we are echoing the two results right here, right? Now what we want to do is we want to echo this result inside here, right? Because that's what we want. Actually, we only need one row. We only need one table row here. All right, we want to echo the result in here, right? We have let's make this full name. All right, let's make this full name. Let's make this password. All right, password, and let's make this email, right? So if we want to, when we come here, we want to echo the full name here. So what you would do basically is you would take this out of here, because if you put it here, you're closing the while loop. All right, so what you do is you're gonna close PHP, right? You're gonna close PHP after you open the while loop. All right, you're gonna close it here. All right, and then what you do is you come down here, right below where you want your data to go, and you can do this for a whole HTML page. All right, you just have to close your PHP, but you cannot close PHP unless you open it. All right, so I hope you will understand. It's a very simple process, right? What we're doing here is we are opening our while loop, right? But we don't want it to end here. So we are ending PHP here because we want to get into HTML, all right? So we're going to take all this out, all right? And then we're going to say, listen, PHP, we still want to access some HTML codes, right? HTML entities, all right? So this here is not ending here. It's going to end here, right? So, but you cannot just write this. It has to be the PHP tag, right? So that is what we did exactly here, right? We're running out of time, so let's go ahead and open our PHP tag again. You need to open your PHP tag again because you are inside HTML now, right? So you're gonna open this and echo, right, result, and then inside it, this will be the full name, right? So we call the full name, and this has to be the same name you have inside your database, right? This one, it's got to be the same name because these are the key values now, right? Great, so we got that done, and now we need to echo the password, right? So we're gonna come here and then echo password, right? And that is password. All right, and then down here we're gonna echo the email. All right, inside here we're gonna echo the email. All right, that's it. Now if we go back to our table, we're gonna get the values. You can see we're getting the values coming in from the database dynamically, right? We can probably rename our table and say customers, right? And then let's just take this tag off, right? Now we're getting all the customers from the table. You can see that, and this is bootstrap, so it's looking nice, right? If you look at a table, this is what we have, and then if you look at our table, we got this, right? So if we add anything, let's do this manually because I don't have time, right? I don't have much time. If I go ahead and just write my name and then I go gmail.com, all right, and then I put my password, all right, then I put my full name, all right, over here, and then I put okay, we don't have that yet, but I will go ahead and put it, and then I click on go, all right, and then I refresh this, all right. It takes a while to load, and then we're gonna see the result down here, right? So you can see we're getting the result down here, right? And this is coming straight from the database. So I hope you can just do this again. We're not going to do an exercise for this course, for this lecture, all right? Because we are not going to use procedural PHP. We're going to use the PIDO, right? So just practice with the procedure and see how it works. I'll see you in the next section. Thank you very much.